So why would you wake up at 5 a.m.? I think there's some incredible benefits to this practice. I just started this over the last 6 months and it's completely changed my life. I was never a morning person before, and now I am so into waking up at 5. I'm gonna tell you all about how this has transformed my life in even just a small way, but a pretty profound way as well. And then I'm gonna tell you how I was able to go from being not a morning person to being a morning person where I wake up every day energized and ready to take on my day and accomplish a lot. If you stick around to the end, I'm gonna give you some steps that you can take to make this possible in your life as well. Who am I? My name's Lane. This is Lane Sebring, and I am so excited to have you watching this video right now. I talk about all kinds of things on this channel, including self-publishing. So if you're into that and you want my 5-step guide to writing a #1 best-selling book, just go to lanesebring.com/5steps. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if you want more videos on self-publishing, personal development, and online business. So let's dive right into why and how I wake up at 5 a.m. So a little background, I never used to want to wake up early. In fact, most of my life, including my adult life and my working life, I would wake up at the absolute last minute that I could. If I had to be somewhere at 8:30 and I could sleep till 8, I would do it. It always bothered me because I always heard of people talking about how they were able to accomplish a lot more, and they would cite waking up early as one of the reasons why. That always frustrated me because I thought, why can't I be one of those people? Maybe you can relate. But I had motivation recently because I have an online business, which I talk about on this channel, and I wanted to release a course to my subscribers. I wanted to release a course, and that course, it's an online course, was gonna take me a long time to build, and I just didn't have the time. I have a full-time job. I have 4 kids. At the time I had 3, but my wife was pregnant with the 4th. So the idea of like working on it during the day, not gonna happen. Working on it at night when I get home from work, kind of not gonna happen, because what would happen is I would get home 5:30, 6 o'clock, immediately jump into dinner and then bedtime routine, bath time with the kids, all that, and then get them tucked in and in bed. And by the time that's all done at about 7:30, if you're a parent, you know you're just exhausted, like there's just nothing left in you at that point. At least that's what I experienced. And so I'd get very frustrated because I would think, okay, I'm finally free. It's 8 o'clock p.m. and I finally have time to think about this course and think about my content that I want to build and think about the next YouTube video I want to shoot or the next book I want to write. And yet, I got nothing left. I might as well just go to bed. Then I'd go to bed and I'd sleep up until the last minute, wake up and do it all over again. And I felt extraordinarily frustrated because here I have all these goals and ambitions and I'm not able to reach them. Maybe you can relate. So I decided I am going to give this a try. I'm just gonna try it again and see if maybe I can make waking up early work for me. So here in a second, I wanna tell you the steps that you can follow to make this happen in your routine. But before we get there, I wanna tell you what my morning looks like between 5 and 8:30. Those 3.5 hours are very important. 8:30 is when I leave for work. 5 is when I wake up, and I want to talk to you about what happens between 5 and 8:30. So I get up at 5 o'clock. I don't snooze. That's going to be one of our steps here in just a second. Don't hit the snooze button. More on that later. I wake up at 5 o'clock. I get up immediately. I go into the bathroom and I get completely ready for the day. Shower, put my clothes on, everything that I need to do to get fully dressed for the day, and I do that by about 5:30, 5:45. Now I understand that for some people it might take longer to get ready, for some people it might take less, but for me I find that I need about 30 to 45 minutes to get fully ready for the day. Then I go and I make breakfast for my kids and for my family, because I got one kid in school, the other kids are younger than school age, but I go in there and I make breakfast and I set it all out for all my kids and my wife. Now usually I am intermittently fasting. I'm doing IF, intermittent fasting. So I don't actually eat until noon, so I don't have to make breakfast for myself. It saves a little bit of time. I'll make a video about that in the future. But I make breakfast for everybody and I set it out, and my goal is to have everything out and ready for my family, and then I go downstairs by 6 o'clock. So when I say downstairs, I mean right here in this room where I record YouTube videos. This is my home office where I work on my online business and my other projects. And so I come down to this room and I work from 6 to 8:30. And what I have found is that between the hours of 6 and 8:30, I have a clear mind. It's amazing. I can think, I can focus, I can get stuff done. I have creative capacity. It's amazing. Not to mention the fact that at 6 in the morning, guess what's not happening? I'm not getting texts, I'm not getting emails, I'm not getting phone calls, I'm not getting push notifications, I'm not getting bothered by anyone because most people are still asleep. And especially since I live in the Eastern time zone in the US, we're ahead of everybody else in the country. And so for some people, it's still 4 a.m. or 2 a.m. or 3, whatever. It's just earlier in the morning. And so that has helped me tremendously. And what I have found is that those 2.5 hours between 6 and 8:30 do so much for me to be able to have a productive day, because no matter what else happens in the day, I can look back at those 2.5 hours and say, look at that, I accomplished something and I moved things forward in my business. What are the steps? Okay, first of all, I would say you need to decide that you're going to do it. You just need to decide it. I had to get to this point where I said, I am going to do this and nothing is going to hold me back. I really feel like it takes that kind of tenacity because it's hard. It's really hard at first. The second thing that you have to do is you have to establish a nighttime routine. And what I mean is you have to understand how many hours of sleep a night that you need, and you need to go to bed at the same time every night. So for me, what that means is I go to bed between 9 and 9:30, which is insane early. I mean, that seems like I would have thought an old man does that kind of thing. But here's what I found. If I go to bed at 9 and I'm asleep by 9:30, when 5 o'clock comes around, I'm ready to wake up. There's nothing sluggish. I didn't go to bed at 11:30 and I'm trying to wake up at 5. A lot of people do that, and it just truly messes them up because that's not enough sleep for most people. Now, if you're one of those people who you only need 4 hours or 5 hours or 6 hours, then great, do what you can do. But I know for me, I need 7.5 to 8 to really be able to hit the ground running the next day. Plus, I want to sleep that much. I love sleep. I enjoy what it does for my body. I love being refreshed. I hate feeling sluggish. I hate feeling tired. I don't like pushing myself to the edge. And I think you can get a lot done even if you sleep more. I think it's a little bit of a myth thinking that more sleep means you're going to get less done. For me, the more I sleep to a point, if I go more than 8 hours, it's too much. If I go less than 7, it's not enough. So 7 to 8 or 7.5 to 8 is my sweet spot. But if I sleep that amount, then I can get a whole lot done. And so rather than staying up from 9 till 11:30, I'm just going to bed at 9 and getting up at 5 instead of 11:30 p.m. and getting up at 7:30. So I've just shifted it back. So if you want to do this, go to bed earlier. That's my biggest piece of advice. Number 3, make sure when you wake up that you don't hit the snooze button. This is huge. Hitting the snooze button, for most of us, that's going to be a 9-minute pause. It's just long enough for you to fall back asleep, and then it's harder to wake up the next time. You do that enough times and eventually you just give up on the whole thing and you stay in bed. That's going to be the biggest thing, is if you just decide I'm not hitting the snooze button, I'm popping out of bed immediately. That's a big, big deal. So don't hit the snooze button. And then lastly, I would say have something to work on that you look forward to working on. Okay, this is huge. Have something waiting for you in the morning that you actually enjoy, that energizes you. So maybe you set this up. I know for me, when I finish my morning around 8:30 or so, I will think about what am I going to pick up the next day? Because essentially that's my work day. It's a 2.5 hour work day, and then I go to my full-time job from 9 to 5. So when I look at it at the end of my morning work, I say, what am I going to work on first thing tomorrow morning? And I lay it out for myself so that the next day I actually have something to look forward to. It's work that energizes me and I want to dive into it as soon as I can. So those are my steps for making sure that if you want to wake up early, you can, and you can get the most out of your morning routine. So what did I miss? Do you wake up early? Is this something that you love doing? What advice do you have for me and for others in the comments. Please leave a comment, give this video a like if you got some value out of it. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in the next video.